Here, Ben, yep. Yep, go ahead, Ben. 1, 2, 3. Yep, flip. Don't drop it. Good job, Ben. All right. Okay, hold up. All right. We're gonna go lay it on that other tire. That's it. Okay, we are back from our trip and have hit the ground running. We have so many jobs to do. The weather is shifting. If you are local or in the northwest area, cold weather is coming. We are supposed to get 30-degree nighttime temperatures. That's 30 degrees Fahrenheit. But here on our farm, that doesn't mean 30 degrees. We've already hit 30 degrees, which that means 20 degrees at night for sure. So that means not only do we need to put away all this lovely firewood that was delivered while we were gone, we also need to make sure we pull out all of the tender, loving, heat lover vegetables out of the garden and anything else. I thought I would really quickly, while we're doing all this crazy, busy activity, go ahead and take you for one last tour of the garden for the season. We may end up with an October garden tour video. We'll see how the cold crops do. And I have some ideas. I'm pretty excited. I want to share them with you. I have a little project, so I'll be filming that later this week. For now, let's just go check out the garden. So the kids are busy starting on the firewood. They're gonna just do that for a little bit. Next. Hold on. That's it. Yeah. Well done. Okay. And then my mom is inside working on all of the pears because they're ripe and ready. Wonder if that was that weasel. Could have been. Let's see here. I'm gonna be doing this, and then my job is to go pull all the tomatoes from the garden. Sometimes it works to divide and conquer. So I actually only have walked through the garden one quick time since I've been back. I've only been back a couple of days. We took a trip down to the Oregon coast. It was wonderful to get away, but you know, I really love coming back to my farm. So the strawberry and asparagus bed, pardon the wind, the weather is shifting, has certainly perked up. The catnip is flowering and going to seed. I'll be cutting that out very soon. We have some red oric that has gone to seed and we'll be allowing this to self-sow in the garden. And then we have more catnip and the black-eyed Susans. So we'll go ahead and we'll cut all of this back. We have some strawberries, and if we're lucky, yes, we have a few beautiful strawberries left. So this is a ever-bearing strawberry. Cannot remember the type of strawberry that is right now, but when I find it, I will make sure I put that up on the screen for you guys or down in the description if I forget to put it on the screen. But these guys do really well. They are one of my favorite varieties of strawberries. All right, so the kitchen garden has been turned into our fall garden because it is definitely getting too cold for all of the warm, loving things. We pulled the beans out. We're going to be prepping this bed for winter very soon. All our dill has gone to seed. This garden, unfortunately, I didn't realize it was going to be quite as hot as it was when we were gone. I did not ask our company to water for me, and it definitely took some damage from that. Totally my fault, but we do still have some beautiful carrots growing in this bed, as well as some borage. I didn't know this about borage. I don't know if you guys did or not. I did know that it was an edible flower. You can use these little flowers as well as the leaves for a sort of a cucumber type flavor in your water and things like that. But I didn't know it also is a kind of a heavy hitting herb. You can use it in a tea for blood cleansing, which means it's not really a tonic type herb. You wouldn't want to take it all the time, but it's a good one to look into a little bit more. So I'm going to be doing a little more research. That's a little past its prime for me for this year, but for next year I'll have to think about planting more. Now, I do have some sad news. Before I left, things were so crazy and so busy You really have to just prioritize. And while most people wouldn't think that right in the middle of harvest is a great time to take a vacation, it works pretty well because most of the kids have gone back to school. Since we homeschool, we didn't have to worry about that as much. And we can take our school with us, as well as just use nature as our homeschooling opportunity, which is what we did this time. So before I left, I did as many things as I could on the farm and pulled the things from the garden that I figured wouldn't make it if the temperature did change. I figured while we were gone, we'd be saying goodbye to the garden. And one of the things that is very cold hardy is beets. And I left the beets because I thought for sure they would be totally fine till I got back. And sadly, they are not. They are really squishy when you touch them. They're withered quite a lot. Now, this could be because they got stressed out from not having enough water. And I've noticed that some of them are okay still, but not very many. This whole bed right here was just completely filled with beets, and they were beautiful. We were eating the greens. Some of the greens I can tell are still going to be okay. But none of the big beet bottoms, the roots, are going to be worth canning. So that, I'm actually really bummed about that. Up behind me is the Jerusalem artichokes. These guys are crazy towering giants. I love them. We're just going to leave them. Probably won't even pull them until the spring or maybe this fall. We'll see. But we're going to wait till that foliage dies back. I'm really not that worried about it. Let's see. Ooh, I'm going to show you one of my favorite beds that I'm so excited about. Now, all of these greens were planted with fall harvest in mind. They were planted the second week of August, and I think that's our ticket right there. So this is bok choy. These are lady bok choy from Baker Creek. Then I've got some mustard greens. This mustard green right here, I did a little trial with it. I actually planted in the spring. I cut it all the way off to the bottom, and then now it's re-sprouted, and all I keep doing is taking the flowering heads out, and then we use the leaves in stir fry. We have some more salad coming up right here, and all of these that you see popping up all right here, these are all violets, and I'll show you some of them. They've all self-sown. I'm not going to leave them. This is way too much for us. And then we have celery in the back. Stay tuned for a trick to overwinter your celery. This is lovage, which also tastes like celery. It's great in soups. This thing, my plan is for it to basically take over this, and then I can take starts from it and move it into the big garden. And then we have blood sorrel or dock. Some people call it dock, some people call it blood sorrel. An excellent salad green for this time of year. And then, of course, we have plenty of dill, which is great because I'm going to be making more pickles. The scarlet runner beans have just gone crazy. They really like cooler weather, which is unusual for a bean. But we do have some. These guys are ready. We'll save these for replanting next year. And then we have some celeriac. And this one's fun because it actually grows this root right here instead of these stalks, and you use this part and it tastes really good like mashed potatoes. And then we have some kale that's going well. I need to pull these rutabagas out. I told you guys in the last video I was going to do that. I still haven't. And I do have some more carrots. These should be fine for a little bit. I have some Swiss chard. Unfortunately, the Mizuna, it looks like it just got hammered, but I think I can get it to come back. It was from lack of water. And then more kale in there, and then these are more of the Jerusalem artichokes. So another thing that we have kind of coming on in the garden is all of our California poppies, which are these beauties right here. We like to use these in herbal teas. Really not a lot. It is a mild sedative, but the reason that I use them in tea is because of the mild sedative properties. I mix it with a whole bunch of different herbs in order to make my bedtime blend. And so all we do is we just come in here and we pick the flower off. I'm not going to do it right now because I want to my daughter loves doing this. So I'll have her come through the garden and pick all of these orange flowers, and that way we'll just get loads more, and as you can see, we have tons of them. But this is kind of that last push. Got to get everything out of the garden. Here's a ton more. So I'll have her come through and we'll go ahead and pick all of these petals off of here. This one's a little too far gone for us to keep for tea, but it does add a beautiful pop to our herbal teas in the wintertime, and I love seeing it dry. So I have one more bed in here to show you guys, and then I will quickly walk you through some of the garden and show you the cellar, or the cellar garden, and that's gonna be it for our final garden tour. Most of the rest of the garden is the same as the last time I showed you. I'll kind of pan through, and then we just have a lot of work to do. So these greens were also planted with fall harvest in mind. We have some escarole here, we have arugula right here, some stir-fry greens. This is Baker Creek's Dragon stir-fry mix. It is my absolute favorite. I love it. And I can see that even though I watered for probably 4 hours yesterday, it looks like I may need to water some more, and I think I will. This is cilantro, which is a total trial, and it worked. So I will definitely be planting cilantro for a fall harvest. I'm pretty excited. Oh yes, it's so good. It's so good. I should show you the greenhouse as well. Yep, I can't help it. I have to show you all the things. Purple Mizuna. I really like this in my salads. It just adds some bulk to it. And then I have some green back here. I don't know why it didn't germinate very well in either of these rows. So I'm going to come through. I got to get all these weeds out because I do not want them doing anything over the winter. And then I also planted in some lettuce. So we've got a little bit here and a little here. I think the grasshoppers maybe ate some of this stuff, so that's kind of what happens. And then this is self-sown Russian kale, and this is doing really well, so we'll also be harvesting off of that. Then the fedge is behind me. Those are boysenberries on that fence. They're pretty much done for the season, and I actually have decided I'm gonna take this trellis out behind me, and I'm gonna make more of an archway with it. So I'll probably need 2 more to make this whole thing an arch that you can walk under, because these boysenberries love to just ramble, and they're very, very spiky. That's why I planted them in this area. I knew that they would be. I planned them that way, but I think in order to get them off the ground and get a better view of what's going on in more pollination, I think we can pull them up now that I have the metal raised beds. These are a borderline crop for us. We normally can't even grow them here, but they've been thriving in this garden for about 5 years now. They are doing really well. This year we did get some fruit off of them, and next year I'm hoping for even more. I really hope that the audio quality on this video turns out, because it is very windy today, and it's just getting worse. So I'm going to continue zipping through this a little faster than normal. So I'm just gonna walk through. This is more of our food forest here. We've been through it, Honeyberry Hill, and then we're just still trying to get some things established. I do have some echinacea that I have had planted in the same spot for many years. I'm gonna throw on some compost in this whole section, and hopefully we can beef this area up a bit. Then I'm gonna take you over here to the cellar garden, where the major action is going on right now. The cellar garden is planted in a totally different way than our kitchen garden. We use in-ground gardening, and kind of a combination between roost out gardening method, back to Eden gardening method, no dig, and also I use these sort of agricultural woven fabric. Now those are the total game changer. And currently what we have going on here is I'm establishing a blackberry row here, and so I allowed all the sunflowers to grow up. We didn't plant any of them. They're just volunteers. We let the birds kind of pick off those so they leave our berries alone. And then it also helps to shade the things that I want to get established and help retain some moisture. So we'll be cutting these out of the garden, not pulling them up, and then throwing these to between the goats and the chickens. They'll be very happy. This row, we had peas on it, and normally I would have planted a second crop, but this year I just let it be. This row under the sheets are our tomatoes, which they have survived. I can't even believe this, you guys. Never in the history of me owning this property So we just came into our 8th year. We just began it, and it has always frosted on August 30th, which is my birthday. That's the only reason I can remember it. And last year we extended our season by 1 week. This year it's 2 weeks. Now, is that because we're just in that kind of a cycle? Is that because we have added so many heat sinks to this area? Who knows? Only time will tell. But I am very excited. Today I will be picking all of these tomatoes and bringing them inside, because they will not, even with the sheets, they won't survive down into the 20s. And I had to show you this beautiful row of carrots. These have just done absolutely fantastic. I will show you some footage when we're gonna pull them all up probably tomorrow, but I have a special thing we're gonna try, another test. We'll see if it works. We're gonna try an old-fashioned method in a new way, a modern way, and see if we can make these store for a long time. But look at all those carrots. And then all of our green beans have produced extremely heavy. I have a couple of gallons in the refrigerator I need to can still, but they are definitely done for the year. And Maggie is busy there. She decided to ditch the firewood and start working on picking all these flowers for us. Thank you, Maggie. She doesn't know it yet, but it is time for also our very last bouquet harvest for the season, which means I let her take the clippers, go through the entire garden and cut every flower she can see. That will make her very happy. Over there we have the last remaining squash. I'm not even going to take you there because they're so sad. We did get a few zucchinis off of it, but those poor things, we just did not do very well this year. So we will resolve to do better next year. Now, as you guys know, we've been working to take back this garden. And we will not stop that series. We will continue taking back this garden. I will take you along. If you guys have been building your own Back to Eden gardens, or wanting to, or learn about no-dig methods, stay tuned, because I will be finishing that up before snow flies. But this week we had to take a little bit of a break from taking back that garden. We'll get back to it next week in order to finish stacking up our firewood. That is our only source of heat. We do use a few plug-in heaters just for nighttime and keeping the porch warm, because the wood stove doesn't heat the porch. But we absolutely have to have this firewood. And I just want to give a shout out to some friends of ours who provided this firewood for us. We've had now 2 different friends, well, several people, but 2 different friends provide us with firewood this year. And you guys, like, it just blesses me so much to have so many amazing people in my life. I could not make these YouTube videos and be able to continue living the life that we live without, number 1, being debt-free, and number 2, having such amazing community around me. I truly would not be able to continue making these videos and continue putting the time and effort into our lifestyle the way that we are. So thank you so much for providing us with this, and also just being here and being a part of this channel. I love hanging out with you guys. I love making these videos, and I love sharing my plants with you. So let's go ahead and get into the greenhouse. I'll show you one last look. It's about ready to change. Actually, it's going to be changing in the next couple of days here as we finish harvesting things out. So since you last saw it, the cucumbers have started to decline. We've got some yellowing going on, and this is totally normal. It gets too cold for them. They really prefer 80 degrees for their whole life. I just picked a load of cucumbers, as well as my friend, and you can see, like, they're just not in their prime anymore. So what we're gonna do is pull these out and open up light to finish off our peppers. And you can see we've got so many different kinds of peppers growing. This is the best bell pepper I've ever had. Now, I do think we are gonna have to come in here and go ahead and pull these before the temperature changes. Either that, or I'm gonna put in the heater, or I might do both. That's a poblano. And then I've got these guys. I don't even know what these are. What, honey? We have all of these. I will show you guys. I'm going to teach you how to make a extremely spicy home fermented hot sauce. If you're interested in that, leave it down in the comments or give us a thumbs up, and I'll make sure I get that video put out for you guys. I have a friend that I actually grow all of these for, because I don't eat spicy stuff, at least not this spicy. These suckers will make you jump around the kitchen and reach for the milk jug, but these are a lemon drop pepper. I've grown them so many times, and I mean, you can tell they just produce tons of peppers. So awesome. More cucumbers. And like I said, even though they're still alive, I think we're just gonna go ahead and pull them and be safe. I do have some more peppers back there. Those are the Sugar Rush peach peppers. Here, we can go in here and check this out. We're gonna do the tomatoes, Betty, in just a second.
I am too I'm almost on low battery.
These should be really good. So these guys all recovered. Well, these actually might be more lemon drops. I don't know. You guys, every time. I don't know how this happens. I labeled the peppers this year. You saw me, and I planted them. And I swear I did not just plant lemon drop peppers. Maybe I just need to not plant any next year at all and just plant the other ones. I don't know how I do this every year. Every year. Oh well. Oh well. Lemon drop peppers, they do work. They grow well. But I'm really excited to show you this. So this plant got totally eaten. You can still see some of the damage from the goats. Remember, they got in here a couple of weeks ago, but this is my beautiful Anaheim, and I love these. I like to freeze them so I can put them in my eggs with onions and peppers, and these go really great in it. These are a perpetual onion, self-sowing onion. It just keeps on growing in here. It's kind of like a, let's see, in England, we always call them spring onions, which is funny. I'm not English, but my mom is. And so I always grew up calling them spring onions. And then here, though, they call them, what do you call them? Green onion. That's what you guys call them. Green onion. And so basically I just planted them one time, and this is what they do every single year. So I get a really great crop pretty much through the entire year until it's very cold. So about November through February, I don't get much growth on them, but otherwise these guys grow all year in this unheated greenhouse. And then I also have some jalapenos growing, and I'm very excited. Not necessarily enough to make any salsa, but maybe a little batch, I don't know. And I'm extra excited for this beautiful basil, which I think I'm gonna harvest it because I just don't trust the temperatures here. I think I'm gonna harvest it anyway. Yes, you can have one. I have a friend coming over, and we're gonna turn it into pizza, and it's gonna be so good. Okay, get out of it. If my little basil monster back here doesn't eat it all. Okay, I'll show you which one you can eat, okay? He loves basil. Don't pick any more, don't pick any more. Thank you. So we're gonna get to work on those tomatoes, aren't we? He's gonna help me, and that's the greenhouse tour for today. They're not very thrilled about coming home from vacation to a whole bunch of work, but you know, it's the farm life for us. Look at these beautiful grapes. I love them. Thank you guys for hanging out with me as we get back into our homestead routine. I hope you enjoyed this video, this very quick look through the garden. I hope I will be able to get out a October garden tour video for you. And until then, stay tuned. Don't forget, we're going to be having that carrot video and celery video, how to store them through the winter, coming up really soon so that you guys can put it to use in your own gardens this year. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. We'll see you guys again soon. Thanks for joining us.